Treant Protector is one of the most underrated supports, and I'm going to show you how to abuse him in your rank game. Treant specializes in stalling out the game for your cores by protecting your towers and hence preventing the enemy from taking over the map. He can lurk in the trees to provide vision or help get pickoffs. He can cut waves easily, heal, and reduce the enemy's damage, and provide lockdown with his ultimate. Treant has the highest damage at level 1 at 85 to 93. He hits hard, but attacks and moves really slowly. His movement speed is 280, and base attack time is 1.9. However, as a support, having this high damage allows you to constantly deny creeps from your enemy, allowing you to have a level advantage early, and mow down squishy supports who try to trade with you. It is important to learn how to attack move with this hero, which is basically cancelling the long backswing of his auto attack, allowing you to keep up with your enemy while you're chasing them. Starting with Treant's innate nature's guise, this lets Treant walk through trees and give him a 10% movement speed buff while doing so. Taking damage when Treant is not near trees will put this on a cooldown for 2.75 seconds, after which he can enter the trees again. But if Treant is already in the trees and takes damage, he will not lose his tree walking ability. This is a very important detail, as you have to be very careful about leaving the trees, since enemies might damage you and prevent you from escaping. Treant's first spell is Nature's Grasp. Treant creates a line of vines that slows and damages enemies that it touches. If the spell touches a tree, then the damage is increased by 50%. This is a strong spell to harass enemies in lane, and useful for pushing out waves once the laning phase is over. The vines work with Treant's innate, granting him 10% extra movement speed, and keeps his innate active. Don't overfixate on hitting a tree with this spell and miss the enemies entirely. Enemies will most likely only be in the spell for a second, so the additional 50% damage isn't very significant. Instead, try to cut off paths of escape with this spell since there is a formation time, and make sure to walk inside the vines so that you gain the extra movement speed. Value this spell more for the movement speed it gives you and the slow, which lets you weave in your powerful auto attacks while chasing. The next spell is Leech Seed, which heals allies in an AoE and slows and damages enemies. Since this heals and damages, it is very valuable in lane. Use this when you and your carry are trading, since it will heal both of you. The AoE heal of Leech Seed is deceptively large, so you can follow the target to get those healing pulses. With your sapling facet, you can ground target this spell, causing you to create a tree and cast Leech Seed that damages all enemies in an AoE. The damage to creeps is reduced by 50%, but this is still a good spell to push out waves in combination with your Nature's Grasp. Treant's third spell is Living Armor, which can be cast on allies or buildings. This grants them armor and HP regen over a long period of time. This is Treant's best spell, as at level 4, you can give an ally 13 armor and 180 heal, and since the duration of the spell is 30 seconds and the cooldown is 15, you can armor 2 of your allies at the same time. That is 26 bonus armor for your team. A plate mail that costs 1400 gold grants only 10 armor. Your one spell gives 26 armor for your team, which is worth at least 3000 gold. Make sure to use this on whichever core is tanking and see how little damage they take. The spell gets buffed at level 20, which grants 8 additional armor for each unit this is cast on. That's 21 armor per ally. And when you armor 2 allies, it goes to 42 armor for your team, or about 5600 gold. If you ever get to level 25 and you take the Living Armor talent, you can armor up to 5 heroes at the same time, granting 105 armor for your team. Think of this spell more as a protective spell than a healing spell. The heal is not very significant. Make sure to use this when enemies are hitting your tower to reduce the total damage and then slowly heal it up to full once they have to back off. Treant's ultimate is Overgrowth, which is a large AoE root that pierces BKB and damages enemies. It's important to note that enemies cannot attack while being rooted, unlike the root from Rod of Atos. This, however, can be removed with a basic dispel, making this spell very unreliable as the game progresses. since enemies can buy dispels in the form of Views, Lotus, Manta, BKB, Disperser, and Satanic. I would recommend waiting with your ultimate until the enemy core uses their dispels or BKB. This nullifies a significant amount of their BKB, as they are forced to sit still and look at you. The other important use for this is cancelling channels. If there's an Enigma that presses BKB and Black Hole, or Pudge that presses BKB and Dismember, you can easily cancel their ultimates with your Overgrowth. Treant Shard grants invisibility when Nature's Guise is active. This works with Nature's Grasp and also gives you a root when you attack an enemy. This has a 10-second cooldown and roots for 1 second if no tree is around, or 2 seconds if attacking near a tree. You also deal a small amount of damage based on your base damage. The damage is the same regardless of the duration. Treant Shard is a must buy. It makes you really annoying to deal with. You can cut waves, scout out the enemies, plant dangerous wards, and escape. Treant's Aghanim Sceptre is essentially a map hack that lets you turn trees into your wards. In addition to this, casting Overgrowth will also affect enemies in the AoE of these trees, allowing you to either farm large portions of the map or root multiple enemies. With the basics out of the way, I'm really excited to talk about all the cool tricks that you can do with Treant. If you were paying attention, then you would notice that most of his spells benefit from trees. And thankfully, with the sapling facet, you can create a tree on command. This allows for really neat interactions and combos. If you have Shard on Treant, and you try to blink in on an enemy where there are no trees, then you will only root them for 1 second. If, however, you blink in, cast Leech Seed on the ground, and then hit them, you will root them for an additional second. Since Nature's Guise has a fade time, even if you blinked into an area where there are no trees, and you cast Leech Seed on the ground near you, you will not lose your invisibility. To add to this combo, you can use Nature's Grasp on the enemy, making sure to include your tree in the path you just created. This will increase the damage by 50% since the sapling seed counts as a tree. After you've rooted the enemy, you can either follow up with your ultimate to keep them in place, or you can retreat in invisibility in the Nature's Grasp vines that you have created, since they also activate your Nature's Guise Innate. If you do this combo successfully, you will never lose your Nature's Guise despite casting all your spells. This allows you to retreat into the tree line, where it's harder for enemies to chase you, thanks to your free movement. Please remember that the tree you created from Leech Seed only lasts for 5 seconds, so you need to create an exit with your Nature's Grasp before the tree dies. In relation to this, always use your Leech Seed on the ground when you're pushing waves, so that you get the extra 50% damage from your Nature's Grasp. This makes pushing waves easy, since you don't need to find awkward angles for your Nature's Grasp. Even when the Leech Seed tree dies, the Nature's Grasp will still do bonus damage. Some interesting combos that you can try with this sapling facet are Treant and Muerta. By placing the tree behind an enemy, the Muerta can deadshot them back into your tower. Cutting down or destroying the trees will cause another one to sprout up and does not stop the effect of Leech Seed. Similar combos can be done with Mars and Windrunner, but these are harder to execute. A simple and strong combo is Treant with Nature's Prophet. Sprout increases the damage of your Nature's Grasp. Having Leech Seed to be ground targeted is a game changer for Treant, as it lets you effectively heal your team in a huge AoE without the need to target an enemy nearby. Leech Seed at level 4 heals a hero for 300 HP. In a team fight, you can reliably heal around 3 heroes, which is 900 HP for your team, on just a 12-second cooldown. If the enemy has high magic damage, I would recommend getting Holy Locket, which amplifies your healing by 15%. This increases your healing from 300 into 3 to 345 into 3, which is 1035 healing. If you manage to get the level 20 talent, which is 45 Leech Seed damage and heal, then you will heal for about 600 into 3, or 1800 HP for your team. If you ever use it in the middle of all 5 heroes, you will heal your team for 3000 health. I've even reached 30k healing with Treant in some of my rank games with my purchase of Holy Locket. Please spam this non-stop in fights to heal your team. Another cool trick that you can do with Leech Seed is fogging the enemies. especially ranged heroes like Drow, who will lose vision of you when you plant a tree in between them. You can then use Nature's Grasp and run to the trees and activate your Innate in the time that this buys you. Remember that if you buy damage barriers like Puggies, Solar Crest, or Glimmer and Pipe, taking damage will not disable your Nature's Guise. Abuse this to activate your Nature's Guise in situations where they would normally get cancelled. Stay in the trees. Always be careful when leaving the trees since you will lose your Innate. Instead, in fights try to use your Nature's Grasp and Leech Seed as your entry and escape path. This is because even if enemies have vision of you, you do not lose Nature's Guise if it is already active. You will only lose it if you leave the trees and take damage before trying to re-enter. If you want to quickly use Living Armor on your ally, you can directly click on their portrait. I usually press Alt to see if any of my teammates are low, and I can directly use Living Armor on them. You can also use Living Armor from the minimap. If you know that a tower needs a lot of healing, instead of changing your camera and clicking on it every 30 seconds, you can click on it directly from the minimap. Living Armor also doesn't require you to click on a unit directly. If you are in a hurry and press it near the hero, it will still use it on the nearest ally, prioritizing heroes and towers over creeps. One more tip that I leave you with is using Living Armor and Leech Seed on your creep when the enemy glyphs. This keeps the creep alive and gives you that extra time to hit the tower. Here were some of the advanced tips for Treant. I realized that there are so many things that I want to share with you that I'm planning to make a part 2 of this guide, which will include how to play the lane, cool item builds, and other crazy ideas that you can try out. As always, thanks for watching and see you soon.